Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. I'm your host, Tim, the Mushmaster Spriggs, and with me as always every week is...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball, no new Nico. Glad to be back in DC, Baltimore, that area, whatever.
the DMV.
Yo, and it's like kind of treacherous over here. Like, I didn't know how to dress today. Like, I didn't know how to leave my house, and I definitely left in like 5 layers. I'm down to like my third variation of the same outfit today.
Well, what's bracking, blood?
Not much.
You're bicking back being bull with that outfit.
Whoa, what the what? What the? Oh, you speak languages? You speak tongues, Tim?
Oh, you're bicking back being bull because for those of you just listening to the podcast, Nico is in an all red outfit, complete with a red bandana and black and red wrestling shoes. And I'm just like, wow.
Oh, man.
I'm like, wow, when were you initiated into this gang? And I thought you were like an educator. I thought you were non-gang affiliated, but here we go.
I'm most definitely an educator. What happened is, every favela has a local gang and a local soccer team. And both of my favela gang and my Rio soccer team are red. So I'm repping red, Flamengo.
Wow.
Flamenguista.
That is a very great explanation, and I believe you. So, yeah. So, we're not gang affiliated here. We're just goon affiliated. So, what's new with you, Nico? What's going on with you?
Not much. I got back from New York last Sunday, but I think I was talking about that on Sunday when I was filming the episode midway. But this week I actually got to meet up with Dr. Rosa. He took a look at my hip and like my MRI results, so that was cool. Like I definitely wasn't hip after all the years I've heard you guys talk about this man. Like, yeah, why didn't anybody tell me?
He's the truth, right?
He definitely is. So I have like a torn labrum in my hip, and he's a chiropractor. So if you haven't seen the episode, I'm not sure what number it is. You should definitely check it out. And he works with a lot of people on the team, but anytime like I'm injured, I always go to physical therapy. So I never think to go to a chiropractor. But after hearing like the way he talked on the episode and what he does with like analyzing people's lab results and like referring them to places, I asked him if he could take a look at my MRI results because I already had the results. I already knew I have osteoarthritis and a torn labrum. I didn't know where my labrum was though. Apparently, like I know like what it is and what it does. It's the joint that like moves like your shoulders and your hips. But like, I guess I thought it was like down by my groin, like a lot more. But like when I went there, like not only did he look at the MRI, but like he tried to find the tear, or he did find the tear with a sonogram, which is really weird. Have you ever done that before?
Yes, he took the jelly, which is extremely cold, because first of all, his doctor's office, like all doctor's offices, are cold. I guess that's a rule when you're a doctor that wherever you practice has to be cold. And he puts a little jelly on and he rubs it over you. And yeah, I went through that experience. It's very nerve-wracking because you're like, oh shit, here we go. I'm just waiting for the good or bad news. I just hope and pray it's good news.
But where did you get it? What did he...
I've gotten it in my shoulder and my knee, and I had a slight tear in my rotator cuff, but it didn't need surgery. And part of the reason why I didn't get surgery was because of Dr. Rose's prognosis. And it's hard getting a MRI, but he's so great at giving you the hookup and telling you where to go. And like most places, it would take forever to get the results. It would take you forever to be seen. And, he really hooks it up. So he kind of prolonged my career and he gave me exercises for rehab. So now, like, yeah, I can tell my right shoulder isn't as strong. Well, I'd say it's just as strong, but it's the one with the more problems. But by me going to Dr. Rosa and getting the rehab suggestions and getting the treatment and him diagnosis, yes. Oh my goodness, my brain's not working too good today.
It's cool. You've been training a lot. I know you've been telling me you've been training a lot.
Yeah. So he gave me a great diagnosis, and he really prolonged my career.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But he definitely kind of did the same thing for me. Like, so it was really funny because he was looking for the tear. And first of all, he was like, this was kind of like he just had me go into his office. He was doing me a favor, and like we know him, so he was like not in his very like formal doctor-y like manner. So like first off, he is like damn, he couldn't find what he was looking for, and he said it was like just really hard to see because like I don't have a lot of fat, I'm really skinny, and then he's like your bones like reflecting, and I was like,
Wow.
oh, so he's just like sitting there looking around, and he also said it was difficult because he doesn't do like a lot of hips, and it's different things, and it's like layers. And so then he finally found the tear. He was able to show me the tear. He was able to show me, I think maybe it was my psoas, because I know I have problems with my psoas. And he looked at it and he's like, damn. He was just like, holy fuck, it's like really mangled. It's like, like it's mashed in there. And it was like, it was interesting to see like his just like natural reaction because, one of my issues with the original doctors, when they gave me the results, they were like, yeah, the torn labrum isn't that bad, but like we're more worried about the arthritis. And I was like, I know that I've had arthritis, and everybody's telling me it's minor arthritis. It's not causing me this pain and this discomfort. Something else is. And I was like, that just seems like a weird way to word it. And also like an athlete, like you got to understand, like I need to know like what I could or couldn't do or should or shouldn't do. Like he was asking me questions, Dr. Rosa, while he was going through it. He's like, are you training? And like I have stopped training, but I've been trying to like go to the gym and do like the elliptical or something. They told me that like I read you shouldn't do the treadmill because like being seated and then moving the joint is worse and that standing is better. But when I told him I was doing the elliptical, he like just made this like really funny face. Like I wasn't even looking at him, and that like that's how I knew his reaction. He was just like, And then at the end, I was like, well, should I be working out? And he was like, well, yeah, sure. Like, you're going to get it fixed.
You're going to fuck it up worse, but it'll get fixed in the end.
Because that's what I was worried about. And, like, that is the issue. Because, like, any doctor is going to tell you not to train. But what he did tell me was, like, anything you could do is going to hurt it more, but like I'm going to have surgery, so they're going to fix it, one thing. And the second thing would be like I need to strengthen the muscles around it so that the recovery will be easier. So just doing any kind of strengthening exercises would be better, maybe not doing like Muay Thai. I'm probably going to roll tomorrow. That's probably not the best thing because it's not necessarily like strengthening per se.
You're kind of just molding and like mangling yourself, like contorting your limbs and shit.
It depends. Like if you stick to like a very meticulous like training, like I do like a lot of the same stuff. So like I know I can't like lift anybody with a butterfly hook. Like I know like that's the thing why I don't drill, but like I'll roll. It's like I know when I can't use that muscle and I'll see it and I won't use the muscle. I won't strengthen. Like I know I can't close like a half guard in a certain way, like or I can't triangle. I can't do that as much as I'm drilling or playing games because it might force me to be in a situation that I shouldn't be. That's like more strenuous.
That is a nice part about jiu-jitsu, in that you can get into set positions, and if you don't want to get taken out of there, you have a way of doing it without further injuring yourself, unlike a lot of other sports where, it's against your will. So that's good, Nico. I'm happy that, you know what's going on, and you know just how far you can fuck yourself up, and at the end of the day, like Dr. Rosa said, you will be healed.
Yeah, I'm going to get it in before I go out, so,
Have all your fun while you can, right?
Hit up some people, get some chokes in before I have to go down, so. What's been new with you?
What's been new with me? Well, I've just been doing a lot of real life work, doing adult shit, so that's not fun, but.
When was the last time that you had to do real life work?
Real life work?
Yeah.
About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I'd say.
And what is your definition of real life work for the people?
Real life work is not being a jiu-jitsu bum. Real life work is, doing real life things, hustling. I've always hustled. Let me correct that statement. I've always hustled, but I've been focused on entering the regular workforce and doing regular life stuff, like doing a lot of my accounting, which I'm always a stickler for, but I really had to focus on it this year because of, all the business impact. What?
How if you're like a freelancer or contractor, as like a jiu-jitsu person, how have you not had to focus on your accounting every single year or not?
I do, but this year I was really anal about it. I was really focused about it because I said, damn it, I want to get a tax refund this time. And I'm really fucking serious. And I did my taxes on time. Actually, technically early, if you think about it. I did my taxes early. And, going for job interviews and shit. Like, that's always interesting. Applying for jobs, and then I'm still have the jiu-jitsu business that I'm doing. So I took the time that I would be training into doing things in the industry that have nothing to do with me throwing somebody on their head or choking someone, like learning about marketing, networking, setting up seminars, business and business things, as they say. That's what I consider adult stuff. All the fun kids shit where, I'm just going to train all day and not worry about anything. I'm going to let everything else in my life go to the wayside. I'm going to find a girl to cook for me or whatever. Like, all this adult stuff that sometimes I would slack on, I do it. We talked about this before. I cook for myself. I do my taxes. I market. I work on skills that I didn't really focus on before because I was traveling everywhere every week, fighting and getting paid to do it. And now that I'm tired of doing that, it's really been a whole thing about pushing forward and everything else non-competition related because I'm retired, despite the fact that people keep asking me, will you do this tournament? Come on, man, do this card. Fight this 300-pound dude.
300 pounds, really? Who did that want you to fight?
That's an exaggeration, but
That's happened
lately,
before. That's wild.
Yeah, but lately it's just people have been hitting me up like, hey man, will you fight this guy? Because everyone's too pussy too. And I say, before I'd be like, yeah, I guess I'll do it on short notice, even though no one's really training right now, but I'll do it. And people are still offering me matches with giant people. I'm only 215 pounds. And they're like, you want to fight this 250-pound dude? I guess I'll do it if the price is right. But alas, those days are no more. So I've just been doing business things and adulting. So that's what's new with me, Nico.
Yeah, welcome to the W2 world.
Yeah.
It's fun. I've been part of it all of this time, actually. I think a lot of people think I am a bum or just a bum. In Rio, because of the dreadlocks, a lot of people thought I used to sell jewelry on the beach. Here, I think people, yeah, they thought I was one of them. I have degrees, people, multiple degrees. I actually have a job here, but a beautiful job. So I have a part-time job at a night school, so I only have to work 4 hours a week. 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, and no Fridays. So that's beautiful. When I was traveling everywhere, because that let me get to places for competitions on Fridays, it was easier to get off. I would fly back from Europeans, Worlds, anything Monday morning, and then just go straight to work, 5 p.m.
Wow, that's the life, ain't it? Well, that's
it was nice. It was really hard. It was hard because having to do that and train, and I did that before I moved to Brazil too, and I was in grad school, and that's what kind of made me burn out, trying to juggle fighting full time, and I was fighting Muay Thai and not jiu-jitsu, going to grad school and teaching. That was full time at an alternative school, so it's at risk youth. So I just got burned out eventually. Now it's really nice to have this part-time job, but having the degrees and the abilities was the one thing that allows me to do that and have a sweet job. I know a lot of people that quit their jobs to try to do jiu-jitsu and then don't have enough money, but I have a nice salary and minimal hours to work.
Maybe when I'm more gainfully employed more securely employed, I might go back to doing that. What is that balance like of work and trying to compete at a high level?
I'd say it's really hard. You have to have your priorities and know what your goal is, because it's very easy to spread yourself too thin or not know what you need to do. It's very hard to train 2 times a day, and it's very hard to do a morning training that's very hard and then sit down and have to do work. Like for me, it could be lesson planning, it could be editing. Like for me, at least I have like multiple jobs, so I know if I'm tired and dead, I could like maybe do a different job. Like I don't have to lesson plan. I could edit videos. I don't have to edit videos. I could like spend like an hour scheduling social media posts, which takes forever. But there's a ton of things that need to be done. So like really prioritizing what's important. I think I read in like the Will Ferriss book, or not Will Ferriss. Who's that self-help
Tim
dude?
Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, yeah. Something about like 80-20, like you make 80% of your money from 20% of what you do.
Yes.
And so it's like really important to like focus on that. Like I really had to stop training jiu-jitsu, not because like I was injured, but because like I was launching a whole new store in a different country, and like I it took me a long time to like internalize that and prioritize that and stop, because like I was always training jiu-jitsu. It's like what am I training for? Nothing. Like I'm launching a store and like trying to pay other people, and like set that priority aside. So especially if you're trying to train professionally and work, like friends in your social life are the one thing that normally go.
That's what I learned in college. At orientation, they told us you can have three things. You can have a great academic life, you can have a great extracurricular activity life, and you can have a great social life, but you can't have all three. And it's about sacrifice. A lot of it is sacrifice. If we want to get ahead in life, no matter what we do, it is sacrifice. I was talking to Aaron the other day, and amongst other things that we discussed, we were talking about someone offering a student scholarship for a martial arts academy. And we got into this whole discussion about when coaches say they're looking for students with a champion mindset, and how subjective it is, and whether that's a toxic idea. And in my opinion, a champion mindset isn't some pie in the sky ideal. It's not being a psycho. It's about singular focus. And when you have singular focus, you need to be willing to sacrifice a lot. That is the number one priority. So you need to take away from everything else in your life. So if you have a girlfriend that isn't 100% supporting you, you're going to have to take time away from her, or dump her, or him, or whatever. If you like eating shitty food, you're going to have to take away from that, almost cut it off entirely when you're in camp. If you have distractions or insecurities, you need to let that go, because you can't be insecure about your goal. You have to have a singular focus. And it's good that you put up that idea of sacrifice, is what you're saying. It's sacrifice. And I'll give an example for this podcast. If I was traveling up and down the road twice a day, I don't care how intelligent I am. I don't care how creative I am. I wouldn't be able to give my all in the things that we're trying to do with the BJJ GOONS movement. So being that on top of other life things that I have going on, I feel as though at a certain point you can only go so far as a competitor. And I have to make the sacrifice now to push everything else in life ahead. And you have to make that decision, So for all the athletes listening, or people that are interested in pursuing this lifestyle, or whatever it is that you do, if you're going to do something that's great, or you want to be a high level at, you need to be willing to make the sacrifice. Is that what you're trying to say, Nico?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Gotta make the sacrifices if you want to do anything great,
It's like, a lot of my friends don't understand that. Mind you, first of all, before lockdown, training at TLI used to be at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, which is in the
afternoon.
Morning. That's almost the afternoon. That's like, if you get up at, I get up at 5:30 now. 11 o'clock is the afternoon.
Can we go back? 5:30 in the morning?
Yes.
Is that because you have trained yourself to do it, or do you have insomnia?
No, it's because high style jujitsu. I hate you guys. No, I love you guys, but because of them. So mind you, never mind. Like I've like since I haven't been training consistently, I haven't been getting up as early. But that's been like a whole issue with me being like overworked and not being able to get up on time. But where was I going? So
11.
when training was at 11 o'clock in the evening, I would sometimes go out in the middle of the night and play chess. And by the middle of the night, I mean at like 3 o'clock. And it's not like I would be up all night, like, and then go to an after hours, which is where I was playing chess. Like, I would go to bed, set an alarm, like, wake up at 1 o'clock, and then, like, slide out of my house, and then maybe go play chess, like, with, you know, just some people I know that go out there, or, like, the random drunk people that would go around. So, like, I know a lot of people from that scene, but like everybody knows, like I don't go there to drink. Like I always sit at the bar, which is where the chessboard is. Like I always just chill with like the person that owns it, like the bartender. There's this other dude that played chess that in the lockdown got shot, so he passed, and like that used to be my thing. And then I'd still go home like 7 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep, get up, go train at 11, go to work at 5. That would work out for me. But then lockdown hit, and now when I want to train, training is at 7 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So like I ain't going out in the middle of the night, like, and people are always still hitting up my phone, like, yo, let's go get smacked. So it's like I was never going out to get smacked. I was just out. Like that is not an appealing invitation to me. I'm not like, I don't know why. Like I'll go out to get dinner. I'll go out wrestling. I'll go out shooting. I'll go out to the strip club. But I'm not going to be like, oh, let me go out and get smacked. Because, like, that's just not appealing. And people find it very hard to understand. It's like, yo, I get up at, like, 5:30 every morning. Like, I work all of the time. And when I'm not working, like, I'm training. It's like the first thing I do before I go to work is people are trying to kick my ass. Like, if I'm going to go out, I want to make it worth it. I'm not going out just to, like, be smacked and get bored. Like, so these are sacrifices. And, like, it's just, like, a lifestyle that you learn to live.
Yeah. There's consequences to the actions that you have. I'm learning that too. And sometimes the consequences are immediate. For example, the next day, if you got smacked and you wake up and then you just get thrashed, or it's long term. And then down the road, you realize, oh crap, I've put all this stuff off for so long. Or, oh crap, I didn't get the results that I wanted. Or, oh crap, I think my ship has sailed. I missed this opportunity. It's never coming back because of the decisions that I made. But in order to survive, you got to learn to live with regrets, like Jay-Z said. So that's what's new with us.
Speaking of regrets.
Regrets. Oh, there's going to be a lot of regrets with this next bit of news for somebody involved. We had the fight of the century last week, Nico.
That was the fight of the century.
It was the fight of the century.
All right. I mean, it was marketed very well. Like,
I'm speaking tongue in cheek. I don't think that was a fight of the century at all. It might have been the biggest shit show or farce of the century so far this century.
It's definitely claiming a lot of attention. It's claiming everybody's attention. We're all bored though. Like a lot of sports have been canceled. We have nothing better to do than, you know, hype up these kind of fights. Everybody is after Jake Paul right now because he's got the best mouth on him. I guess he's got like some nice knockouts, but still.
So, for those of you who don't know, or if you've been living under a rock, Jake Paul knocked out Ben Askren, and anyone that has been listening to this podcast or knows me personally knows that I called this. I knew this was going to happen, and a lot of professional combat athletes who aren't haters, because at this point, I mean, sometimes people say being a hater is a bad thing, but you know, some things need to be hated on. And a lot of people were underestimating Jake Paul, and if I've learned anything over my time in martial arts and in media, you can't underestimate anybody. You can't underestimate a trickster. You know how they have those, you know how like in literature they have in the mythology, they have character types, right?
Yeah.
I'd say Jake Paul would be what you considered a trickster, correct?
Yeah.
He would be a trickster, and you think he's stupid, but he's stupid as a fox because he's tricked people into thinking just because he's a jokester that he can't pack a punch. And he played everybody. He played Ben Askren like a fiddle. I'm not surprised, and I called that
like
he
a fiddle.
like a fiddle, like he played him like a fiddle. Here's why. Ben Askren, if anybody who watches MMA, knows that he cannot strike. He can't strike. He is a piss poor striker. Whenever he even gets engaged in any kind of striking battle, he gets beat the fuck up. Everyone that watches MMA knows this. But for some reason, people just assume just because he fought in MMA that he could just knock out Jake Paul or give him the business with the hands. And I just think that whoever thought that really overlooked that Jake Paul has been freaking training. This guy has been training hard for at least 2 years now. Him and his brother. And if you saw the weigh-ins, you saw Ben Askren was not working out hard.
Yeah, I hate when people don't give boxing the respect that it deserves. Like, boxing is not MMA. Boxing training is not the same as MMA. I think, like, the next Patreon to drop is the Patreon we did when we talk about the difference between stand-up and BJJ.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's just such a lack of respect for the art of boxing.
It's such a lack of respect. It's just so much ego involved. And when a guy like Jake Paul, a trickster, gets at people's ego, it's so easy for fighters or combat athletes, because combat athletes, I mean, we got really big egos in combat sports. And it's so easy to bruise it. It's so easy to get people up in their feelings that you can get put into a trap. And that was a trap. Because just like everyone else that goes against these trickster type guys, they just think that, oh, it's not going to happen to me. I have this and this pedigree in this sport. Well, guess what? Ben Askren has absolutely, positively no striking whatsoever. He is so strike averse that he was read like a children's book by Jorge Masvidal, and he got kneed in the face in 4 seconds because Jorge Masvidal knew this guy has so little striking that all he's going to do is dip his head down. He is so strike averse that he didn't even take into account his takedown attempts and thinking, maybe one day someone's going to knee me right in the face. Or, maybe I'll eat an uppercut if I just dip my head down. But he was able to get away with it for so long. And he thinks, like, I'm an Olympian in wrestling. I mean, did I medal? No. But I'm an Olympian in wrestling, so that's totally going to...
set up them shots, man. You got to set up them shots and know how to defend your face.
But, Nico, in order to set up the shots, what does he have to do?
Defend his face,
But how would you learn to defend your face, Nico?
You set up shots by one, protecting your box by keeping your hands up, and two, jab right, cross.
But Nico,
jab right, cross.
He has no striking.
Maybe another.
He has no striking.
No.
He has no striking. None whatsoever. So Nico, I mean, you saw the knockout, right?
Oh, definitely. I saw the knockout. I saw the YouTube video with the celebrity impressions of the knockout. I missed the whole fight, unfortunately. I was in Atlantic City, and
unfortunately, bootleg that shit. I would have bootlegged it.
I looked it up on YouTube, so
that's good.
So I didn't get to see the whole card and everything like that. But yeah, that was exactly what I expected it to be. Like, somebody going up against a boxer, like knockout power. Everybody is clamoring to get at him. Everybody wants a piece of that. And I guess you can't hate him if, like, you'd want to get paid too, I guess.
You would want to get paid too. And it's just a work to me. It's a game to me. And it's gotten to the point where I view all combat sports like professional wrestling now. All professional sports are basically professional wrestling to me. And here's why. It's just like the circus. It's not governed by who the best athletes are. anymore.
Here's what. Let's just stroll down the outline and move on to Conor McGregor. It's another example of why. Like these guys. Oh, hopefully the sound works. I'm trying to stop screaming in the microphone and being all high pitched and whatnot.
You're getting excited.
God,
It's okay.
Conor
You have
McGregor is
zeal.
another clown. Just like all talk.
He is all talk because I think like half his fights lately he's been getting finished, right? He's been getting fucked
at
up.
At least the Poirier fight.
Hmm?
At least the last one.
He got knocked the fuck out. He either lately he'll fight some guy that's washed. No offense, Cowboy Cerrone, but he's washed. He hadn't done shit in a long time. Okay? Cowboy Cerrone is past his prime. He really shouldn't be fighting anymore, or at least not anybody in a high top 10 level fighter. That's number one. Number two, he's been getting finished lately, and he still gets opportunities because, oh, well, I beat Dustin Poirier damn near 7-8 years ago, so I deserve another money fight. But because he talks a lot of trash, he's going to get the fight because the UFC invested in him being a star. I don't think that's his yacht that he put in the port of Portugal. No, I don't think that's his yacht. I don't think that he's balling like that. Like, I don't think he's balling like that. It's an image that he got from Floyd Mayweather, who got it from Ric Flair, who got it from, Nature Boy Buddy Rock. Like, it's just all a show.
Everything goes back to Ric Flair.
It does, though. Think about it. It's all a show. Jake Paul, he's one of the most popular. Let's just call it like a spade a spade. He's a boxer because Seth Daniels put it best. He's not doing anything different than most professional boxers do. You get fed opponents and you get brought up so you can basically pad your record and protect yourself so you can get the big money fights. But for him, he lucked out because all his fights are big money fights now. It's the fight business. It's not the Olympics where you have to kind of qualify, and even the Olympics to a lesser extent is politics. If we want to get into that, we don't really have to. We could talk to an Olympian one day. But a lot of that is politics. It's about the fight business. And yes, it is a real fight. Like it's not predetermined, but either way you're getting damaged and you're trying to put on a show. Even in jiu-jitsu, you got people that don't have any kind of credentials as other guys, but they're getting paid because this is the business. The fight business is the show business, and it's basically pro wrestling. If you're going, you got to get asses and seats. You got to be able to talk people's asses and seats. You got to get eyeballs on it. You could be a completely horrible piece of shit person in this game, but if you get people to watch, it's okay. You can completely suck, but you're still going to get opportunities and you're going to get paid because at the end of the day, let's be real here, Nico. We would all train for free. We pay to train. But in order for us to compete, we want to get paid when we compete. The training involved or the preparation involved to be world class and compete, you want to get compensated for. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So in order to get the highest compensation, what do you have to do? You have to put on a show. And a part of that is just being a goof. And it's to the point, once again, you do not have to be great to get compensated. You do not have to be great to get to the top level. You can still get protected. And as long as you put on a show, there will be a spot for you.
There will be, but not on our podcast. So let's move on to the people that aren't so much of
Stop
assholes,
giving them
that aren't
attention,
assholes.
Yeah.
And let's actually talk about some of the shit that we could not find out through BJJ News. So we talked about Dylan Dennis on Flagrant 2 and how he was on to talk about Conor McGregor's charity and what happened with that. I didn't watch the full episode because he's really hard to listen to. And then I tried to watch the clip about what this charity was, and I couldn't even make it through the whole clip, and he didn't address the question in the least bit. He's somewhat of a tool.
To his defense, he was really drunk and probably coked out of his mind, too.
That's not a good defense for appearing on the podcast,
That is
plenty
true.
of time before and after.
True.
So, what actually happened? So, sometime in January, Conor McGregor promised to donate $500,000 to Dustin Poirier's charity, which he never did. So we hear all about Conor McGregor, nothing about what the hell this charity is. So Dustin has a charity that he founded in his home state of Youngsville, Louisiana. It's called the Good Fight Foundation. There's not a lot of information on the charity other than the fact that they have 3 employees and they've raised or they had an income of $600,000 in 2019. What Poirier does do to raise money apparently is he auctions off his fight gear. So his last fight kit auctioned off for $26,200 and all of that. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. For an outfit that he fought in, something that was free to him. So for like, when we're talking about, oh, you can only make money for talking shit. No, you can generate $26,200 for a good cause by something that you have for free that you put on eBay. So other fighters that have donated to the foundation to have gear auctioned off include Khabib, Max Holloway, Cub Swanson, Alan Jobin, Eric Anders, Brandon Allen, and Shabbat Hornacy. So really all Conor McGregor had to do was give away some free clothes, but he didn't. He promised $500,000, which he did not deliver on. As somebody that, gets a lot of donations, and, like, relies on donations, like, Conor didn't have to say anything. He could have just donated the money when he had it. He could have donated a uniform. But, like, he did make a public statement. Poirier asked where it was. Conor said he wanted to know where the money was going and didn't get replies. Poirier said him and his team replied to him on their website. It says... well, their website is down. So on their Instagram, like, it will tell you what the foundation does and some of the initiatives that they've sponsored, which is providing transitional car seats for families in need, car seats and food supplies, which seems really weird, but it's kind of important. Like, if you think about, like, all the TLI kids and, like, half of the team has to, like, cart around the kids because they need a way to get to school. You can't provide services to kids in at-risk areas if they can't get there, or small things like that are important. So it looks like he's going out and doing, like, a lot of small initiatives in Louisiana for people like that. Raising money for St. Jude's Research Hospital. There's pictures on his Instagram of when they've donated school supplies, infant necessities to Hurricane Laura, tools, and some international initiatives like the Lebanon Red Cross, and I believe I saw something about a school in Uganda. So, I mean, there's a decent amount of information about the foundation. I'm not sure why the donation wasn't made or what happened, but, like, it would have been nice to hear a little bit more about the foundation, a little bit less about the shit talkers and what wasn't done for them.
Maybe he just didn't have the money, like in the office. Like, hey man, I don't got it.
He's got to have some lawsuits. If he don't have some civil suits like that he's hiding in the pocket, like, he's got it. He threw that thing at the bus.
Well, Nico, like I said it once, I'll say it again. I'll say it 1,000 times. These guys are putting on a show. What you feel or what you see and what is real are totally different things. We might think just because of the images we see that he's got it like that. But maybe, just maybe, he has a sugar daddy like some other people in this sport.
You stuck on these sugar daddies. Like, you've been hurt by a sugar daddy or a sugar baby. You have been hurt by a sugar baby.
No, I've never had a sugar baby.
I'm looking for a sugar daddy, though. So, slide into my own personal DM, no new Nico or Nico Ball.
Yeah. So Nico can be balling.
That means you're going to pay me and there will be no sex, though. I just want to be clear.
There you go.
Serious inquiries only.
There you go. I'm being serious. There are people that are... Oh, good. Good. Yeah, I mean, some people just say they got it like that and they don't. And there are people willing to invest in keeping up the charade because it benefits them. Let's say hypothetically that Conor McGregor claims to be the highest paid athlete and they go into the Forbes magazine and they fudge the numbers, or there's some questionable accounting, or they just lie just so that they can put out the impression that Conor McGregor is a multi-millionaire, bazillionaire, and he fights. But it could just all be a farce. I believe none of what I hear and half of what I see, Nico. So,
Oh no, I'm with you on that one. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So
No, I definitely agree.
yeah. So he could be lying. He might not even be balling like that. It could be that Dana White is funding his lifestyle, or it behooves Dana White to protect him. And I'm another side note too. Dustin Poirier, he did something that you're never supposed to do, which is you feed the troll. You don't feed the troll. Although I will say he did the right thing by calling him out. He did the right thing by calling him out because now it made him look like an asshole and it got in Conor's feelings. Conor was pissed because probably somewhere deep down inside his heart he knew A, he didn't have the money, or B, he really just forgot and he just needed to come up with an excuse because
he said a donation is not a debt.
That's some bullshit. He just don't got the money.
I know.
It's just bullshit.
If you say you're gonna do something, or I mean, that was some bullshit.
Have you ever? Go ahead, Nico. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I clearly researched within 15 minutes all of that information on the organization. If he was if you're gonna donate $500,000, your excuse for not doing it isn't oh, they didn't tell me what it was for. There's more communication before that's happening, but it's whatever. He didn't do it. Shout out to Dustin for doing $26,000 just off of
that gear,
which is dope. He's raised apparently $600,000 in 1 year somehow. So basically, what I guess maybe McGregor saw those numbers and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna match it off some big man thing," and then didn't. But to me, I always tell people, if you're not actively using a clothespin to actually hang your clothes, or haven't been shot out in the last 2 weeks, your problems aren't mine. Especially if you're not doing anything for the community. So I really don't care what Conor is or isn't doing, but I have been seeing a lot of drama. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody loves to feed the troll. I don't read Reddit. Do you get on Reddit?
No, I make fun of Redditors.
But I know people make fun of them, but so a little birdie from the Bronx, one of my people sent me this article about IBJJF leaving FloGrappling.
You want my thoughts?
Yeah. Did you read it? Did you look at it? I sent it to you.
I read the thread. Yes, I did.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
I read about halfway down the page, with the threads, and a lot of it is hearsay. I will say, if it is true, FloGrappling is going to be even less worthy of my money because I'm going to be honest. I pay the yearly subscription, but if we divide it by 12 months, this is my personal opinion. I still pay it, so I can't really talk shit, but I'm going to say this. If they lose IBJJF events, they lost a huge chunk of the reason why people even subscribe to it. They virtually put Budo videos out of business just from them taking all those IBJJF events. And a huge part of what makes streaming for sports or sports entertainment so great is the library of content that you have. Because at the end of the day, we perform jiu-jitsu. We want to see it in action. And if you take away the number one federation, the marquee, whether it's gi or no gi, if we're talking about organization and the most professional, it's IBJJF. I love Fight to Win, but to me, it's more of a show. Do I make myself clear?
IBJJF is? Oh no, Fight to Win.
Fight
yeah, definitely.
Win.
It's not the same. It's not a tournament. It's a different kind of.
It's different. It's a
style of fight.
Yes, and the prestige is different. It's a show. It's fun, just like Who's Number One, which is virtually Fight to Win, or just like ADCC, and we can argue about the merits of ADCC lately, just because of how there's a little bit of commingling between athletes and promoter and organizer. So if you lose IBJJF, there really is no point of staying with Flo if you're putting your money down. It's not like Flo is the Netflix of grappling because it's no comparison. Netflix is $10 a month and you're getting new content all the time, great content, different types of content. If Netflix was like FloGrappling, it would just be like MTV where there's ridiculousness 15 hours out of the day. And then seldom there's like some other shit going on and there's no music videos. That's more like it would be like. I think it's gonna be a shit show for them if they lose it. Or they're gonna have to step their game up and get some kind of attention otherwise, because I'm tired of hearing about the same guys on floor all the time, and you're gonna hear about everyone else even less now. You know, and the documentaries are cool, I guess, but I don't want to see guys just living in a vacant lot and grappling with possums on the mat. Like I'm not. I don't want to see episode 30 of Daisy Fresh. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah. It's interesting. It makes you think, like, what is the value of flow? Like, why do people pay for it? Like, and why do people hate it? Like, yeah, clearly they post a lot of the same content of the same guys. Their defense of that has been that they're not journalists. They are an event filming and like event production company, right? So IBJJF, Fight to Win, who's number one. The other thing that they hate is the price. And I think the third thing that they hate, according to the thread, is the senior editor, Hal. He gets a lot of hate, my man. Oh, poor thing.
That's what happens when you're the figurehead, though. Yeah, that's what happens. You're the man in the front.
So it's like, is there anything else that people like really hate about FloGrappling?
The reasons you gave as to why people won't like Flo, they have a lot of merit, Nico. Like, you gave 3 very solid reasons. Okay, so let's go.
Okay, but if they're only for events, so if it's only for events, then how many of those reasons are still standing? The fact that they keep publishing articles about the same people is irrelevant because they're event production, and the fact is that, like, they're there for the fight library.
If IBJJF leaves, are they losing the fight library? I'm assuming so, right?
I don't think they would lose the past content. I think that's a good question. I believe because I don't think they will, because FloGrappling, because that's what actually my job. Nobody actually knows what I do for FloGrappling. You got like 20
jobs, by the way.
But I only do one for FloGrappling, and it is specifically the fights and the archiving and the uploading of them. So like when I say, if this were to be true, I actually do know the answer, and there's no way in hell I'm about to tell you on this episode for free. But drop that in that Patreon. You know, you got 5 on it.
5, 10, 25.
It's like, so I started working back for them when they first started doing events with IBJJF, which was in 2016, and it was only the majors. It was only like Worlds, Europeans, Masters, Worlds. They had a contract, and it's all by contract for like 5 events. And then they signed for some more major events, and then they started moving in. And do you remember how the streams used to be when they first came out?
Vaguely.
How were they?
They weren't as good as they are now.
They're like, it was basically just like one mat for like the entire day, or maybe like 2 or 3 hours on each mat. So then you would have to go through all of the mats and like just find your name there. And then it like took them like years to be able to like break it down to where it was like, so you could find individual people's names. So it was not an easy process to do. And it's something like FloGrappling hired people like me. Like at every competition I've worked, I've written down literally half of every single name of every person that's competed in that competition, because that's what you have to do to get your fights on FloGrappling. Like now they've like kind of like streamlined it a little bit more, but like FloGrappling has spent like 5 years perfecting this process and getting it to the point where like if you can go on IBJJF, they're showing you mats. Mat 1, Mat 2, Mat 3, Mat 4, Mat 5. That's all you're getting. Also, working for IBJJF sucks. Like, they work long hours and get paid less than Flo pays. So it's like, it would be interesting to see IBJJF kind of take over the monumentous work that it is to live stream and label those fights and get them to the format that everybody bitches and complains about. Like, yo, the amount of ungrateful blue belts that will come up to that table and be like, where's my fight? It's like, who are you?
Yeah, shut up, blue belt. No
It's like, we're at New York Open. This ain't even like,
you guys keep the doors open when no one's coming to see y'all.
You're a blue belt. You're mad that your fight is one of thousands that hasn't appeared. And it's like, it wasn't an easy thing to get it to that point. And everybody always wants more, but it's like, if you think about it, like, how much is it worth to have that fight library? Like, people definitely don't think it's worth anything because they always complain, but I think they also don't realize the value that they have there with that.
My final take is this. when it comes to just posting the same people and content, I can see both sides of the argument because you do get numbers, but if all you do is paste the same people out of habit, of course those are going to be the best numbers you get, because if you're in this position, you have the ability to make stars. So at a certain point, it is a choice of who you want to show. You got to eventually make new stars, because what happens if the guys that you have as stars disappear? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they decide to retire? Or what if they start getting their asses beat? Then what? You've made this whole... Or what if they decide to blackball you or blacklist you? Just like, we're not going to do interviews with you no more. Then
But
what?
we need that, Tim. Then they can come over here. Yo, BJJ Goons.
But the people that they try to interview are like, I'm just gonna save that for the Patreon so you can hear my real thoughts on everything.
I mean that's what you have. But there's other
and
media.
that cost
there's
is too much, yo.
media.
There is other media. So good. All right, let them be mediocre. If IBJJF leaves, they'll be just fine because they are a multi-million-dollar corporation. IBJJF will be fine. FloGrappling, who knows? Because there's a lot of flow sport. I mean, there's a lot of flow subculture things that have came and went.
FloGrappling will be fine, just like Fight to Win is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe smaller, it may be different, but they'll
downsize for sure. The IBJJF is the be all, the end all. So we were talking about. We
cut some stuff up. We need to. What we need to not cut out is the celebrity death match.
Celebrity death match, or just what celebrities that can fight?
I mean, fine.
Okay.
It's what celebrities that can fight. I like to exaggerate because I'm a woman, and that's what we do.
That's
okay?
sexist.
Celebrity
That's
death
sexist.
match, and that was kind of what was brought up.
I do not co-sign that. I do not. Tim Spriggs did not say women over exaggerate. Just want to let you know. I didn't say that. Nico did.
All right, whatever.
Don't put that sexist
Don't
jacket
mess
on
with
me.
our demographic. Fine. All right.
I didn't say it. I'm not getting canceled. Not for free. You gonna have to pay to hear the shit that I say that'll get me canceled.
All right, what we are skipping over is the fights on FloGrappling that are coming up. But Tim had a dope question because we were talking about the trolls and the hype people.
Paul and them.
Oh, J. Paul. And the question was, I can't find it on the outline. Whatever, it's easy enough. What 5 non-fighting celebrities do you think could whoop some ass? And let me tell you, I asked when I was at the other studio earlier today, and everybody kept giving me people. They're like, yeah, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He trains jiu-jitsu. I was like, what fucking part of non-fighting did you not understand?
Well,
don't give me semi-fight. I didn't even want semi-fighters.
Okay.
BJJ Goons, it's favela jiu-jitsu. I was like, who's street? I should put MC Cabalino on here. I should have gone with some Brazilians.
You should have.
Yo, we haven't talked. I'm changing up my list. Yo, what is that? Nikki Jam's going on my list. All right.
Okay. So you want to go first? Ladies first?
All right, I guess so.
I'll go first. You want me to go first?
You should go first. You had like beautiful, eloquent explanations of why you were picking people like for their fight stats, like your perceived fight stats.
All right. You took one of mine, so I'm not going to use him. So number one for me is the baby. As far as celebrities that can fight or will whoop some ass, the baby. The baby just walks around like Bluto from Popeye and just beats people up. He's always getting in trouble for getting into fights. This man has a murder on his resume. It wasn't a street fight, technically, because a guy ran up on him at Walmart, and I guess the guy had a gun on him, and the baby got the drop on him and lit his ass up, and he's a free man to this day. This is before he got really popping. So this man has been known to be ready for that action at all times. So number one for me is the baby. He keeps on getting assault charges. Anybody that gets assault charges like that, he has, every assault charge that he catches, I'm pretty sure he has at least 20 to 50 actual street fights. He's whipping people's asses. You gotta have fucked somebody up real bad for them to want to sue you afterwards. Number 2. This is in no particular order. I'm just numbering them because I'm trying to remember. The NBA player Steven Jackson. Nico, I put you on game about the Malice in the Palace, and one of the guys in the Malice in the Palace was Steven Jackson. Shout out to Steven Jackson and the Up All the Smoke podcast. He was an NBA player. He's been known to kick some ass. That was actually George Floyd's best friend. Fun fact about Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson is one of the most feared guys in NBA history. I decided to pick him over other NBA players just because he's a little bit more contemporary. Look up Steven Jackson. He's a real deal. He will definitely whoop your ass. Do not run up on Steven Jackson. Number 3, LL Cool J has been known to throw hands, can box.
He's a lover and a fighter.
He is a lover.
Multi-talented.
Yes, ladies lover, Cool J, but also he's hard as hell. Mama said knock you out. This guy can legitimately box. Someone broke into his house and he beat the shit out of the guy, almost beat him to death. Fun fact about LL Cool J. So yes, he will fuck you up. Do not think that you're just going to have a celebrity boxing match with LL Cool J because he will knock you the fuck out. I mean, do you look at this guy like he's jacked?
Yo, his arms are
huge. He's jacked. And Nico's like, LL Cool J.
He could be my sugar daddy.
You know what? Yes. Next time we go to New York, we got to find him.
Is he in New York?
He's somewhere. We'll find him. We're eventually going to get signed by some big podcast company, and we're going to meet LL Cool J, and you're going to have your sugar daddy.
Okay.
And I'm going to have him sign my Kango. Number 4, my favorite rapper since I was 8 years old, Ghostface Killah.
The best.
The GOAT. Let me tell you something about Ghostface Killah, a.k.a. Iron Man. Do you know how he got that nickname, Iron Man?
No, I don't.
They had a show in the early days of the Wu-Tang, and they got in some kind of altercation on stage. And in the backstage area, Raekwon said that he was basically beating up 5 guys at the same time. Like, they were trying to hold him, and he was just slinging them around. And that's how he got the nickname Iron Man, just throwing dudes around. But he's not made of iron. He's the Ghostface Killah. Yeah. So Ghostface Killah, do not run up on him. If you've ever played Def Jam Vendetta, you should know that Ghostface Killah is not anyone to play with.
I don't think you should run up on anyone from the Wu-Tang.
No. You know, the reason why I decided to focus on my boxing and my kickboxing was a Wu-Tang concert. Some guy in the audience was like walking through in the middle of the concert, bumping into people. And one of the guys he bumped into said, "Hey, watch what you're doing." And the guy was like, "Yeah, what are you going to do?" And the guy ate a punch right in the nose, and like you could hear his nose crunch over the music. And then while everyone was leaving the concert, at the end of it, there was a paddy wagon, and he was like standing up on a little platform with the police, and he was like holding his nose. He was holding his nose, which was obviously broken, and he's looking through the crowd trying to point to the cops who did it to him. So that is the story of why I decided to really focus on striking, because I don't want to be one of these grapplers that gets signed to these big platforms and gets their ass knocked the fuck out because they don't know how to strike. And it's all because of a Wu-Tang concert. So Ghostface Killah, do not run up on him. You will get stomped out while he's wearing wallabies. And lastly, another athlete, Aaron Donald. He was exonerated of beating the shit out of that one guy that was on Twitter with his eyes swollen up. But any guy that is 300 pounds and has abs is someone that you do not step to out here.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't want to step the best defensive tackle maybe ever, and he's still in his prime. Yeah. 300-pound defensive tackle that has abs. Don't mess with him. Do not run up on these people. I wouldn't even ask these dudes for autograph because I don't want them to think, "Hey, man, why you running up on me?" And I'm in a fist fight with any of them. Those are my 5. Nico?
Okay, wow. I don't have such an eloquent justification. I went for the cold, hard facts. First one going with Meg Thee Stallion. She just got shot, didn't snitch, walked away from it, held her shit together. Plus, they call her the Stallion.
Do you think what she did was kind of dry snitching, though?
That's besides the point. I think she could fuck you up, and I'm not gonna like comment on dry stitching because she's my number 1 hitter. Like the fuck.
I agree.
Yo, Tim's trying to create division in my squad already. Number 2, just certified killers. Chris Brown. Yes. We already know. This is the one I stole from Tim. He's a swinger. We already know. He's certified. He has 0 fucks to give, and he doesn't fight fair, you know?
I love your explanations, Nico. Keep going. These are excellent. These are way better than my explanations, by the way.
Next one, Nicky Jam. If you don't know who I'm talking about and you can fuck with some subtitles on Netflix, watch El Ganador. It is the story of Nicky Jam. He is a reggaeton artist from Puerto Rico that overcame Percocet addiction, or one of those pill popping addiction, went through hell, was fucking around. Like, he had people trying to kill him in Puerto Rico, like literally kill him for money. You know, he's the kind of person that has survived a lot, like, and he's the kind of person that would like fight you to the death. Another person that would fight you to the death. Another Puerto Rican from the Bronx. We're going with J-Lo, baby. J-Lo. Nobody's gonna fuck with J-Lo. And if you think you can fuck with J-Lo, go watch the movie Enough. She may not be a fighter, but you know back in the day, she went through extensive training to prepare for this role. On top of being raised in the Bronx, on top of being Puerto Rican, on top of, you brought up a very good point. The singing and the dancing and, you know, the performance aspect, the breath control that you have, the ability to not have that energy dump that you get when you get into a fight, that fight or flight mentality. J-Lo has probably mastered that. Years on stage. Titties out. Was it titties out at one point? Or was that, I'm thinking
at the Grammys, titties and abs out.
You know, she's got that shit down. And the last one, this is actually one of my favorite actors. I actually named my gun after his character in Long Kiss Goodnight. This would be Samuel L. Jackson. Again, I don't think he would whoop your ass, but kill you. I think that's a pretty lethal lineup of celebrities right there. Extremely
lethal. Yes. Mm-hmm. Fun fact about Samuel L. Jackson, he was a Black Panther.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Yeah, definitely. He's trained to kill you then. He's trained to kill you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
He don't give a fuck. He fought the government. He fought against them people. So he could give a fuck about you. That's a good list, Nico. The Chris Brown one definitely is great because I could totally see him beating the shit out of someone. Anyone that can do the block boy and do a backflip while singing, hey, those dudes that can dance and they're light skinned and you know they have an ill temperament, they definitely can fight.
But keep in mind, I think consider him to be like the witch off like the Avengers Suicide Squad. Like, he's on the squad, but we don't fuck with him. Like, we keep him in a cage until we need him to go out.
Oh yeah, like I'm not partying with Chris Brown.
Like I won't even listen to Chris Brown music just for like the, you know, the play rates, the notes and stuff, numbers. You ain't get my streaming numbers, son.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
His album with Young Thug, I definitely still bump here and there.
I don't. Maybe.
Nah, man. You are right though. He definitely doesn't fight fair. No.
But he can come, like, you know, sometimes like
maybe he can be your sugar daddy. Sparring partner.
I don't even go on his money. I don't know, maybe reparations.
I need a sugar mama. That's what I need.
We'll post some advertisements on Patreon.
Yes, speaking of the Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/BJJ Goons. You become a little homie, a big homie, or even a certified goon on the Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/BJJ Goons. All the content that we do not put on the free show that you're listening to right now can be found on our Patreon. We drop the 1st and the 15th of every month, so make sure that you show us some love. Nico, do you have anything else to add this week?
No, I'm still trying to get over that, like, was that like an 80s radio announcer vibe? Like,
I can do it, yes.
Oh, dang. I feel like, oh, shit. Yeah, we get some new equipment. I'm going to have, like, something that will cue up music. I'm going to learn to do it.
We need a soundboard for all the funny sounds.
I totally got distracted by that beautiful Patreon ad. Oh, I was going to say, so we dropped that 2 extra episodes a month, the 1st and the 15th. We also do, Tim does like technique stuff, answering questions. Mm-hmm. If you're on the right tier, I don't know what tier it is because I don't do that. You all know how to read. But make sure like you're in there on Patreon asking your questions if you want to see something. And then we'll film it for you. But like, yeah, that's why we have the Patreon, so that you guys can leave your comments and let us know what you want to see.
All right, guys. Well, you can find me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram or on Facebook. And once again, you can find us at patreon.com/BJJ Goons. Nico, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at NoNuNico. Make sure to stop by favelajujitsu.com. And if you're interested in being a sugar daddy, my Cash App is Favela Jiu-Jitsu. Everything's Favela Jiu-Jitsu. We about to spend a lot of money, Tim and myself, Tim and I.
A lot of money.
You know,
So,
come sugar us. Come sugar us so that we can get 4K.
We taking sugar daddy and sugar mama applications.
No, also applications for video editors, people that know how to edit clips, and because like people think I'm joking about this, but I want like something that costs $2,000, so I will make $2,000 off of underground fights. Like I could make it in a lot of other ways, but off principle and the fact that like I've been bored in lockdown for a year, like fights are happening. Like not a lot of people because I'm still paranoid about COVID, but like maybe a couple black belt like mystery super fight matches, some locals, and like it's gonna get scrappy and it's gonna be streamed high definition.
And one last thing, speaking of streaming, on May 29th, we will be commentating for the Randori Jiu-Jitsu Championship. It's an invitational championship. If you've been paying attention to my Instagram, whenever there's a new fight announced for that card, I've been sharing it. You're going to hear my sultry 80s radio personality voice. You're going to hear Nico Ball's lovely voice. So make sure that you guys tune in. We will be posting more and more over the coming weeks about that. And that's it for this week, folks. Yes, so peace. This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Peace.